Okay,
Yes.
here we are.
We've returned again from the beyond.
Have we though? Have we really?
Ah, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe we're still. Maybe we're actually missing right now from the
Oh yeah,
time stream.
we've been missing. This
Well,
episode
yeah.
was recorded sometime 4 months ago.
Well, all these episodes were recorded like what, 12 years ago?
100 maybe.
Yeah, time works funny here,
Yeah.
or not at all actually. Time doesn't work here.
No, we've plucked these from ether actually.
Well, they do. Well,
They
I guess they're also us, but
we Ooh,
they wish time.
the abstract they. You know, who knows? But yes, we're alive for now. Maybe. uh, yes.
Fortunately, life gets in the way because we live in a society.
We do
Or
not
wait,
live in
no,
a
we don't. We
society.
don't live in. No, yeah, you're correct. You're correct. We
We
do
do.
not live in a society.
Otherwise, you'd be getting these weekly if we lived in a society.
Yeah, if we lived in a society, you would be. Yeah, we would. Yeah, these would be happening more often. But instead, we live in a Black Knight. What do you got for me?
What is it? What are you cooking? Come on.
We we live in a. We don't live in a society. We live in a. Well, frankly, we live in the pods.
Oh
We
yeah,
eat the buds.
we're in pod world.
Pod world. There you go. Pod world. That's what we're going with.
Semicolon in there, by the way. You gotta.
Pod semicolon world. That is the name of your story, my friends.
Yes, if you haven't noticed, I don't know, may touch grass as they say, and when you do that, you'll realize there is no grass. It's all just concrete and
Yeah.
garbage.
Imagine we're that little like white Buddhist monk kid from the Matrix, right? There is no grass.
Unironically, just real. Just look outside. You don't see endless parking lots. You must live in a utopia, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, well, hey, I see green outside. I see there's trees.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the two trees in 100
Hey,
miles.
I see several trees, okay?
Oh, okay. Mr. Golden Age over here. But yes, what is the topic today?
Gridman, baby dun dun, baby dun dun.
Gridman, yes, the peak.
It's such a good song. They did not have to go hard. It's that hard for like a '90s kid show. Like,
We do know
that's
that there's the ending song right now. It's already set.
True.
Unless the studio behind Gridman wants us dead for using it, we'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
We don't know how harsh these.
We've avoided such things so far.
So far, a couple things have been a little, One of them I actually was actually like nuked. I forgot which one, but one of the endings. Well, not like nuked, but like they're like, oh, remove it or the video goes down. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which nuke by any other name.
Yes.
Shadow nuke.
There it is. Another term for the.
But yeah, so I guess we're talking about Gridman, the great tokusatsu hero. Do you want to go? There's better like history retrospectives on like YouTube and shit.
Yeah.
There's autists who have done like 3-hour long deep dives. So go there.
Of course,
They'll do a better job than we ever could. But I think we should still go over a little bit over Gridman, like the history and
right. Yes. I think my knowledge of the older stuff is a little lacking because obviously I came into it from
Yeah.
SSSS.Gridman, as a lot of
Yes.
people probably
I, gue-
did,
I
and
guess.
hopped
I
in
guess
and
we'll
they're
kind
like,
of
oh,
start. Yeah, I guess we'll kind of start. Gridman for like the longest time was kind of just like I think if you ask the average Toku fan, like they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Gridman, the like one thing from the '90s. Yeah, that was all right, I guess." And like in fairness, yeah, like the original Gridman series. I mean, I like it. It's a fun little watch, but it's kind of nothing special. I think you've watched it too, right?
yeah, I watched some of it after I did my finish of like Dynazenon and Gridman Universe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was a few months ago now.
yeah. So the basic kind of idea of the original series is you have these three kids, Naoto, Yuka, Ippei, who like they create their own. This is the '90s, right? So like, um, Subaraya Productions was like, we got to get in. It's the '90s. It's the digital age, man. Right? And Subaraya
Yeah,
Productions, famously being, the home of Ultraman, right? The Ultraman series. Are extensively having created the Kyodai Hero subgenre of tokusatsu. Its biggest kind of media property in that subgenre. Um, if I remember correctly, I think 90. It was like they were gearing up for like some big like anniversary for the company. If I remember correctly, don't quote me on that though. Um, so the like CEO or whatever at the time was like, "Hey, like it's been a while since we last did like any kind of big Toku show. Let's go back to our roots." Because I think the last series they did before this was Ultraman 80, if I remember correctly. So that was like a decade ago by this point. Um, they tried to like kind of have Western Ultraman shows in the '90s. That's a little bit of fun trivia that I think a lot of people don't know about or really remember. Is that there was actually a Australian and an American Ultraman show. There's two shows, an American one and an Australian one. The American one, the production was really good. Um, the suits rocked, but like kind of everything else kind of sucked. So I don't really like the American Ultraman production. Um, you know, the one good thing about it besides the suits, which rocked, they weren't used to their full capacity because even though they look good, they were like not super durable. So like they
yeah.
kind of just had them. They kind of just had them like slap each other around and like the infamous hug fights, right?
Oh
Where
man,
yeah, it's not good. I think the one other good thing besides the suits is that one of the episodes featured fucking Jeffrey Combs, aka Herbert West from Reanimator.
a real one who just always appears in the most unexpected things. You're just
Yeah,
watching it, and
I
he'll
was
be
just
there.
like,
It's like, wait, what the?
he's just, I'm like, wait. Yeah, that's the one other good thing. It's just like, wait a minute, is that fucking Jeffrey Combs in fucking Ultraman, the American series? That's awesome. That rocks. That's so cool. So yeah, Jeffrey Combs is an Ultraman character. That's you can tell your friends that. And that's true. That's just actual. The Australian show is way better. It captures the um essence of Ultraman better. It's more fun, honestly. Of course, the Aussies do Ultraman justice. I mean, They live on an island of kaiju, so of course they would understand how to do this correctly.
Yeah, that's just daily life for them, you know.
That's just yeah. Motherfuckers live on real life Skull Island, like they know how to do this. It's fine. But yeah, so Super Eye Productions in the '90s was like, all right, we're not gonna do Ultraman because we're licensing the Ultraman IP out to the West. But let's do our own thing. Let's do something new, something cool, something, it's the digital age. We like computer graphics and shit. All the kids are on their video games and on the computers, on the interwebs. So they come up with Hyper Agent Gridman. Which is, again, the story about those three fucking computer nerd kids. And they actually make their own game. They make their own, like, video game superhero who, So, and this is a fun fact that people forget. The design for Gridman is actually like not his actual form. That's just the design these kids came up for their video game OC superhero.
Yeah.
And he just takes over that. Which I think is really funny. I think that's really like his true form, because he's a hyper agent. Honestly, like Gridman's lore is like high key Schizopunk
Oh
tailed,
yeah,
right? Because he's basically like an agent for like basically fucking Echo, right? Earth Coincidence Control Office. That's not actually what it is, but like that's basically what it is. He's this interdimensional being he's an interdimensional cop, basically. So his true form is like this weird interdimensional, like bright, incomprehensible, right, to human eyes, basically. So he basically hijacks these kids' fucking OC, and that's just his form for forever now. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really, like, there's some few changes in the future, but like it's the basic shape stays the same. And so in the series, he's chasing this other hyperspace being called Con Digifer, who's basically he's just an evil bad guy who likes doing like super generic, like Saturday morning cartoon villain, frankly. Vaguely looks like the Shredder too for Ninja Turtles. I was like, huh, that's just interdimensional Shredder. Okay, whatever, dude. Uh, the one cool thing about him though is that like he is like, I think he is, as much as he is kind of like standard, Saturday morning cartoon villain. He also is a bit more subtle, I think, too. That his whole thing is like he's basically like manipulating and using this like bullied kid to like design and make monsters for him that he brings to life, to try to destroy like the internet, basically, if I remember correctly. Which is kind of funny. I think that's just hilarious, but like it's also kind of like, bro, leave Takashi alone, bro. He's already like Takashi, by the way, is like the best part of the fucking show. He's just an absolute fucking creature. Um, Dude is, I mean, he's uh he's the supreme gentleman before the supreme gentleman. That's Takashi.
Oh.
Like you're like, holy shit! If it weren't for the fact that it's Japan and they're not allowed to have guns, you're like, oh, this kid would totally just go on a shooting spree. Like he's gonna snap one of these days.
Right.
Frankly, Con Digifer is doing society a favor by being like, by having him channel his fucking rage into creating monsters to destroy the internet with.
Yeah, at least someone's doing something, and instead of letting him go unchecked to commit some sort of personal heinous act, you could degree of separation with your creature.
Yeah. Instead of like something like genuinely horrific, it's just this weird kaiju insanity, and It's stopped ultimately by, Gridman or Hero Gridman going in, beating up the monsters, kicking ass, taking names. And yeah, that's basically it. Eventually, Khan first defeated. He's taken the fucking interdimensional jail. And that's kind of where the story of Gridman ended for over 20 fucking years.
Yeah. Need to make its comeback, and so it was, well, the anime was 2018, but they did like a demo short a few years before that for like the concept that ended up being SSS Gridman. Or Jesus. What's a mouthful? Yes. Which is neat because the S's came from the American, or the spin-off. Because that was
it wasn't really a spin-off. It was just like an American version of the show.
Yeah. But it is funny that they combine the names of both of those, because
that is cool.
Yeah, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Great name.
Cyber with an S.
Cyber with an S, yes. Yes, good
Very
shit.
good name. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Cyber with an S. Like that's so 90s. It just reeks 90s, and I love it. It's so good. I appreciate too that it was clearly an attempt. They were trying to do the Power Rangers thing, right? Where American production that just takes footage from a Japanese one, but like kind of changes it up, adds American actors, and has a whole different story, really, right?
They've been doing that for so long, since like the first Godzilla. They will just make the American like side boot. Just like, oh yeah, we'll use all this footage, but we're gonna insert like random Western characters who just kind of are there, like reacting to the footage of.
It's funny because it's only worked really like 2 times, right? With Power Rangers and with Godzilla, and that's like it.
Yeah.
The only 2 times that ever worked. Every other time, like no one fucking remembers fucking Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Like, be so for real. No one remembers that. No one cares about that. Though, I guess the Japanese production cared enough to have the SSSS.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta pay homage to all the roots. We gotta,
Yeah. Oh, and they also the other thing they did too is the fucking what were their name? What were they called? The Neon Genesis Junior High students. Yes, that's right. Like Gridman's like assistants, basically.
Yeah.
Their names, and like a lot of the names of the stuff associated with them are taken from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, because the names for a lot of like his like Gridman's like weapons in the original series kind of suck, frankly. And like Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, SSSS like actually high key had better names for a lot of the stuff.
Oh yeah.
So they just took a lot of the names and like, all right, this is it. You took the Buster board, the fucking fucking Tracto, fucking whatever the fuck, like, yeah. So that was cool of them to at least acknowledge the American version.
Yeah.
Be like, you know what? You had cool names. We'll take it. And so yeah, so you had SSSS.Gridman, and a few years later in 2021, I believe, right? Was Dynazenon, SSSS.Dynazenon. Which I love Dynazenon personally a lot more than I do I love the SSS Gridman, but Dynazenon is just peak in my opinion. I think it does a lot of things better, and I also like that it takes the most random ass shit from the original show, and it's just like, we're gonna make this everything. Like, the original series has a fucking kaiju magically bring these like ancient Chinese mummies this ancient Chinese mummy back to life. And that's kind of like the end of it in the series, right? It's just one episode, and that's just it. And then Dynazenon's like, here he is.
Here's the lore. Here's
the lore. Here's everything. Like the basically the entire show revolves around that like one-off bit from the original show. And I'm just like, that's fucking hilarious. That's awesome.
Oh,
so
man.
it's super funny because like if you don't know anything about the original Gridman series, Dynazenon has a lot of like unanswered questions because like it never tells you how Galma and the kaiju eugenicists came back to life from ancient China, right? Like what happened there. So you only know how they came back if you watch the original Gridman series, and you know, oh, that's just one of the powers of one of the kaiju Khan Digifer brought to life in the 90s. Cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, they really cooked with that. I think it grew on me more after I'd like completed it and Universe, because I think when I was watching it initially, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it compared to Gridman myself. As I
it's very slow.
Yeah.
I think at first. It's very slow and it's very how do you say, like the way that the characters like talk and interact is like painfully realistic at times. Like Gridman, I think SSS.Gridman, the dialogue and how the characters interact is I think it's still pretty fairly real, right? It's pretty fairly true to life, to how real people interact. There still is a few like anime isms that slip through, especially with Yuta, the main character. But in Dynazenon, it's just like, no, this is like we're just gonna keep it real as fuck, and so that can kind of just be, it can kind of feel like super dry at times, right? Because it's just you're just watching like awkward teenagers interact. But I think that's why they added Gamma, so that you could have like, you know, all the realism, and then you just have the one like Studio Trigger character in there.
Yeah, you legally have to have one of those in every Trigger production. You've got to have.
I love it. I love it because Dynazenon, again, most of this show is like super like, again, they don't talk like, you know, anime characters really. They don't talk like super bombastic, super like exaggerated anime characters. They're very down to earth. And then you just have Gamma, who is like, yes, here is Kamina clone number fucking 4582. Like, let's fucking go. I love it so much. It's so, I love
It really is. Oh man.
It's so awesome. I love, we stand our boy Gamma here. He's king shit.
And every Kamina clone out there. They're all...
Yeah, all the Kamina clones are great. I love them all.
When you giving us a show that is just comprised of the Kamina clone types.
I feel like Kamina clone types work well when they're in these scenarios where like everyone else is just a normal human being, and then you just have bombastic, crazy, like, yeah, let's go type guy.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good shit.
Yes, go watch all of it right now.
Go watch all of this. I recommend, obviously, SSS.Gridman, SSS.Dynazenon, Gridman Universe, even the original Hyper Agent Gridman is a fun little watch. If you just want something to have on in the background while you're like, I don't know, doing homework or whatever the fuck. It's good to have there.
Yes, indeed.
It's a fun little classic Toku. Because right, this is still like guys in suits. I love the design of the fucking cyber world. It's so fucking cool.
Oh, it is amazing.
Really sick.
And it's like, so funny that like for it to be called the Gridman and stuff, it just kept evoking the grid from Tron to me. And even aesthetically, like when you see it, it's like, oh shit, this is like
This is Tron.
Tron, yeah. It's like, oh man. Also, it just makes me think. Like,
He is the Gridman.
I know we always call the internet the Wired, but the Grid is also a really.
The Grid's another good one.
It's a really good name that should be used more as well.
Yeah, start doing that more. Use the Grid more.
Yes.
Still use the Wired because of its lane,
yeah,
of course. But the Grid is also like, yeah.
The goal here is to just completely phase out the use of the word internet and only refer to it as the Wired or the Grid.
You know what we need to go back to? We need to go back to. I love watching like old '90s shit about the internet and seeing everyone refer to it as the information superhighway. We need to go back to that.
Yes, that's also a good one. Oh my god. It's so funny seeing like older things. You don't have to go that far back where they still refer to it in like the original like terms that they use for like the dawn of the internet, because it was so funny. I saw a movie last night. It was shit, but it was whatever. But I noticed in the synopsis of the movie, like the old synopsis, it said online, but like on dash line. I'm like, what the hell? Damn, I forgot it was like, you know, the older terminology that we've just like filtered into like, you know, oh, we've simplified it, merged stuff together. But it's like, no, a lot of this stuff was all like, you know, more descriptive, more specific.
We have corporate minimalized even our language of the internet.
Exactly. You know,
like, I love watching I love watching stuff where they still refer to the internet as cyberspace. Like, peak.
Yes, peak. It's so good. You know,
cyberspace is the like. Why did we ever stop calling it that? That's so sick.
Yeah, better than internet.
Yeah, the internet. Okay, it's the internet, I guess. Nah, we need to go back to that William Gibson shit, bro.
Yeah, come on, man.
We need to go back to that snow crash type shit, bro.
Yeah. Well, Facebook went and stole that and made it cringe.
I was about to say that's a monkey's paw wish right there.
Yeah, Metaverse was a good one, but then they had to make it. The corpos had to take it and like, oh yes, the Metaverse.
Yeah. No.
Can't have shit in the Grid.
For real. So we're here to talk about Gridman, I guess.
Yeah.
Gridman is fascinating because it takes, like, I think as I mentioned earlier, right? Its whole purpose was to kind of be like an updated Ultraman type thing, like Ultraman, but not.
Yeah.
Right, for the '90s, for the digital age. And that's always been very interesting to me, especially when compared with like what the Gridman stories have been about and kind of what Gridman is kind of painted as. Right. Even the theme, you know, that I started with, you know, Gridman, baby, dun, dun. That song is called what's it called? It's like Yume no Yusha or something other, maybe other way around. But it translates to hero of dreams. Because that's what Gridman is. He's a hero of dreams.
Yes.
And I think when you think of it from that perspective, I mean, obviously the original series kind of ties into that, but I think the later entries actually do Gridman's themes a lot more justice, and I think that's why they're so beloved nowadays.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and why Universe did it, like they went all out for it.
Oh, Universe!
Like the movie went. I was blown away with that. You know, that was.
You were like, holy shit!
And then also I just kept saying like, is this a science adventure entry? What? It could work. It could work in Universe.
It actually could. It actually could. I was gonna say, let's go back to SSS.Gridman. I think we should start kind of the beginning of this new era of Gridman.
Yeah, like of course we can get into the plot a bit, but obviously we'll get more into like the.
Yeah, we'll get more into like the realness. Yeah.
The connection, the schizopunkian.
Schizopunkian. That's a word.
Yes, it is. Thank you, PKS, once again.
So, man, SSS.Gridman is such a ride because it just throws you into the thick of it.
Yes, just
right
away. Your main character he's amnesiac. He wakes up on someone's couch, doesn't know where he is, doesn't know what's been going on.
Yeah, he wakes up he wakes up in the house of this fucking total babe, Rika Takarada, infamous in our world for her thick ass fucking thighs. Oh my god.
Mandated by the creator.
Yeah. God bless Japan. Give her fat ass thighs or I walk. Reminds me of fucking Cyberpunk 2077, right? Where Trigger was like, the lolly stays or we walk.
Yes, they were real for that.
They were so adamant about that. It's so good. Yeah. But so yeah, he ends up in the house of one of his classmates, Rika Takarada. And apparently he just like passed out randomly in front of her house. So he wakes up, doesn't know where he is, doesn't know who the fuck he is. And it's just kind of like, I think she even takes him to like the hospital, and they're kind of just like, damn, that's weird. I don't know. Go home. See if your memory comes back.
Yeah, the true modern medical organizations be like, just like, oh wow, you had like a completely amnesiac. Who knows? You'll be fine. Drink some water.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah, walk it off.
It's stress.
Yeah. Get some sleep, kid. And so that happens, and then like pretty much immediately after, like that's set up, and the crew, like he meets his friend, this nerd. What's I forget his name. What's the fucking nerd's name?
And
he's like a tokusatsu nerd too, because of course he is. Trying to remember. Well, whatever. It's not. It's his best friend. It's his only real friend, as far as like anyone's. It's pretty sure like that's his only real friend. And he's just like, damn, you really don't remember shit, huh? Utsumi, yeah. So Utsumi's like, damn, you really don't remember shit, huh? That's kind of crazy. And there's this like little interaction for them at the start of the first episode where he's like, damn, it's like, where Utsumi's kind of like, damn, you're like kind of like a whole, like, this is kind of weird because like you're Gita, but you're not really, because his memory's all gone. So he doesn't act the same as he used to. But like, you don't know who Yuta was beforehand, so you're just kind of like, oh, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, that's quickly dropped because it's like pretty much immediately after a fucking kaiju attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fucking kaiju attacks the city. On top of, by the way, I forgot to mention, one of the first things too that happens is that Yuta can see these like fucking colossal kaiju out in like the outskirts of the city, and only he can see them. No one else can see them.
Yeah, which makes for such a really good like just aesthetic backdrop. Just how they're like, they're just so massive.
It's an awesome
they're
visual.
Just like, yeah, it's so good, and it just kind of looms over the series as it goes on. Like they're
just standing there. They don't move. Yeah, they're like statues almost.
Yeah.
And so every time he points them out, we were just like, "You're fucking crazy, dude. There's no kaiju. What are you talking about?" So that when a kaiju attacks, it's much smaller than these colossi on the outskirts of the city, but it's still like it's a kaiju. There's like a brief moment, I think, where one of the characters is like, "Oh, damn,
yeah,
there are kaiju, crazy." And I gotta say, I love the kaiju in Gridman in particular, because like they're animated and designed to look like if they were actual like tokusatsu suits.
Yes. Yeah, no, it fit the look so well.
It's so good. Like the first kaiju you see, like it's its mouth doesn't even like close or open. It's just like like an actual suit would, right? It just stays open. It just constantly has this jaw, like like a fucking idiot. So it can like breathe fire, right? Like you could almost imagine seeing a guy in the suit and then seeing like a mechanism built in the suit to like spit fireballs out the mouth. So they have to make it this long, open thing, like a cannon
Yeah.
almost. Super awesome, super cool. And so the kaiju attack's happening. Utah hears this fucking voice. He's been hearing this voice the whole time, actually. Calling to him, saying it's Gridman. He's like, "What?" Everyone again. No one else can hear the voice.
Yeah.
He sounds crazy. But when the kaiju attack is happening, he follows the voice. It leads him to the shop of Rika's mom. She owns like this like thrift shop, basically. She has this old computer called Junk, which is the exact same computer, by the way, from the original Gridman series from '93. That's what it's literally the exact same old ass computer. They even called it Junk in the original series, which is very funny. So he sees
Yes.
Gridman on the screen of Junk, and Gridman, tells him the whole deal basically. I'm this agent. I'm this hyper agent. I fight kaiju. Merge with me so we can fight off this thing and save the city. So he does. And it's cool. It's sick. You love to see it. And that's kind of the rest of the series, right? Just fighting these kaiju that just happen to pop up in their city. Um, but as the show goes on, another character shows up, Akane Shinjo, who is like a popular girl of the school. She's a total babe,
Mhm.
right? Classic anime girl who's like 14, but she has like fucking triple D's and an ass you can use as bongos. Um she's this like super popular girl who you find out is basically SSS.Gridman's Takashi, right?
Yeah.
Um you find out that she's being used by the kind of overarching villain of SSS.Gridman. Oh my god, what was his name?
Alexis Carib.
Alexis Carib. Yes, another
Yes.
like
Very trigger character.
very trigger character. He he looks like something from like Inferno Cop or something.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I thought when I first saw him. I was like, wow, that's Inferno Cop core.
yeah. And I think too. I'm trying to remember Alexis Carib. I don't remember because Khan Digifer was a hyperworld being, but I don't remember if Alexis Carib is as well. I think he might be like from somewhere else even. Um, but I don't remember. And frankly, it kind of doesn't even matter. Alexis Carib is like the ultimate villain, but like he also kind of doesn't really matter because the whole story is about Akane,
Yeah.
right? Um,
No,
so
with
Alexis Carib is using.
I think okay, so there was implications that he was he fought Gridman before and won, which is why
Yeah.
Gridman is in the weird state that he was at the start of
Yes,
the
that's right.
show
Yeah.
where he was apparently split into pieces. That's why the Neon Genesis Junior High people come in because they were like his
Yeah.
weapons and like aspects of him that became their own like people.
Yes.
But then Gridman still had his
Yeah.
connection to Utah, or made the
No,
connection,
yeah, you did.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he existed before it, and then, started meddling around with Akane.
Yes. Yeah. So he's basically using Akane to do the same thing Condigifer was doing. Create kaiju. Um, well, actually, he's doing a bit different a bit of a different thing from Digifer, because he doesn't he's not trying to destroy the world or anything. He's trying he like Alexis Digifer is kind of more fucked up than Khan Digifer, because like his whole thing is that he's this like he's this immortal who like is just basically like terminally black-pilled about existence. He hates life and everything. So his whole thing is he wants to bring everyone down with him. So he wants Akane. He basically wants to break down Akane and make her as black-pilled as he is about everything.
Yeah.
And he does this by like giving into and like enabling her most like negative behaviors and aspects. Because Alexis Carey thinks reality sucks, and so does Akane. Because, and I don't know why the fuck you'd be watching this if you haven't seen any of this. Go watch it. Don't spoil yourself.
Yes.
It's good. But you find out that Akane is actually real.
Yes, real human, like, you know, layer above shit.
Yeah. Akane is a like like the ending of Gridman just shows like a live action scene where you see the real Akane in live action.
Yes.
Because you find out that the world of SSS.Gridman isn't the real world, it's the computer world.
Yeah.
From the original Gridman series. So in the original Gridman series, Gridman and main character, when they merge, they go into the computer world. But the whole SSS.Gridman series takes place in the computer world. So all the characters in SSS.Gridman are not humans. They're what are called compoids or replicompoids.
Wonderful name. Just so good.
Yeah, super sick. Super sick. Who are like the native inhabitants, basically, of the computer world. Which is kind of neat. So you in the original series, actually, the compoids only appear in one episode. There's only appear in episode 6 of Hyper Agent Gridman. And you only see one of them. She's this girl in like this funny outfit with this like weird magical baton thing, who appears to get Gridman to prevent Gridman from killing Anna Silas, which is a kaiju, the only kaiju in the original Gridman series, which is native to the computer world. As opposed to other kaiju which were created by Khan Digifer and Takashi. So you find out in SSS.Gridman that it takes place in the computer world, and that basically it never really explains how, but like Akane like gained control of a segment of the computer world to kind of just make in her own image and basically rule over as a god of sorts.
Yeah.
So she creates all the characters. Like all the characters are her creations. Yuta, Rika, Utsumi. The whole world is her creation. She's basically their god. There's this really fun scene where like Rika is like struggling with the idea of like Akane being their enemy, and like Akane's like, yeah, you you would. I programmed you to like be my best friend and to like never betray me. Basically, that's your programming. It's just and, like the look on like Rika's face when she's like, oh, damn. Because just imagine, right? Like that would be so fucking crazy. Like you're like, no, I don't, I don't want to do this. That's my friend. She would never. And it's just like, yeah, I programmed you to think that, idiot.
Oh my god.
But it's a good moment in the show.
Yes. Again, so much Tron in this, it's insane.
No, yeah, it's so good. It's very Tron pilled, and you love to see it.
Oh yes.
You love to see it. Especially the parts where like you get to see like because eventually they kind of hit the outer limit of what like Rika controls, right? So you get to see the actual computer world as it actually looks like in the original series. It's just so sick, so fucking cool. Um, so yeah, so you find out actually that those giant colossal kaiju that Yuta's been seeing, and that eventually the rest of the cats can see, are also Rika's creation, and basically they're like her. They basically what she uses to like mold and control her area of the computer world. Um, so basically, Akane has basically just escaped to this fantasy world in the computer space to create her like perfect ideal existence, right? Where she's this super popular girl who everyone loves, everyone,
Mhm.
um adores and looks up to. Because in reality she's not. It's implied that she's like kind of bullied or whatever in real
Yeah.
life. She's kind of outcast. I mean, she's a nerd, right? Like several scenes earlier in the series establish before the reveal that she is this secret tokusatsu nerd,
Yes, because we
right?
see
Who's
her
hiding her power
apartment.
level.
We see her apartment, and it's just full of like kaiju figures and like
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of recognizable figures too, which I like. I
Yes.
like that you can see a bunch of like Godzilla and like Ultraman kaiju. I think I even see a few Gamera like inspired kaiju or whatever the fuck. Like it's good shit. And also too, the kaiju that Alexis Kara brings to life that are created to her, just like that are created by her, just like with Takashi and Khan Digifer. Unlike in the original Gridman, where like Takashi just kind of draws out the kaiju designs on his computer,
Mhm.
Akane straight up like molds out of like clay or
Yeah.
whatever figures of the kaiju she wants him to create. Implying that she does that in real life. Like she's a super nerd, right? She like straight up
Yeah.
makes her own kaiju figures. Um, so yeah, she's implied to be this like outcast nerd who like gets bullied and shit. So she escapes into this fantasy world in the computer realm. Um, of her own making to kind of just escape reality. And the whole show is how like that's cringe. It's a trigger show. But I like that it does it in a more subtle way than the usual trigger stylings, actually, where it's just like, like, no, you can't do this, right? This is not good for you. It's not good for anyone around you. It's not even good for your creations, actually, for your fantasy, right?
Mhm.
Um, because the characters, as much as they're programmed, they also have a degree of free will. Because I don't think it ever really says, but like, I mean, what's the fun of just having these characters that only do what you want them to and not like their own thing? Which is ultimately kind of part of um the undoing of her and Alexis Carib's plans, but which is ultimately a good thing, um,
Yeah.
because kind of Gridman and crew help her kind of realize, like, yeah, reality sucks, man. Um, I get it. I really do.
Oh yeah.
And I totally get wanting to just escape into your fantasies. Um, but like, you gotta face reality. Good things can come out of reality, as much as it's tough. And you don't have to let go of your fantasies of the stuff you like, your tokusatsu, Kino, like that could still be part of you. That could still, but it has to be something you use to embolden you. not to escape into.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good message, especially in this day and age where things suck more than they ever have. At least
Yeah.
in our Zoomer living memories. And so the kind of temptation to just escape into fantasy and anime, video games, tokusatsu, whatever, is also higher than it's ever been before.
Yeah. And honestly, I always leave it to Trigger to like produce these very like hopeful and optimistic stories. Knock it out of the park every time. Where it's like, oh yeah, even when the plot is like this, it's like, yeah, real life, everything's bleak, everything's awful, whatever. But there's still light. There's still
Yeah. Everything sucks. Uh, comma, but
yes, yes. Never kill yourself.
No, yeah, Trigger is the white pill studio, and I love them for it.
Yeah.
God bless him, honestly. Like
Yes.
truly based and humanity pilled, as the aptly named best guy ever would say. Um,
Uh,
good shit all around. You love to see it. It fucking rocks. I love it. I love that it's very much is still true to the original 93 Gridman, which very much had the same kind of theme, right? Where
hmm.
ultimately, like, they beat Kandejifer, and Takashi is like, they're like, hey, look, dude, we get it. That sucks. You're bullied. Your life kind of sucks, man. Like, life can be ass. But instead of fighting, let's be friends, right?
Yes, the
And
power of
things,
friendship
together.
always.
Oh yeah, yeah. The power of friendship, but like actual, because like they're just
Yes.
like, look, guy, look, we're gonna be your friends. It's gonna be okay. We'll handle it together. If anyone tries to bully you, we'll kick their ass. Bada bing. It's that simple. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I like that because it's not the usual power of friendship like saves the day. It's like, no, power of friendship doesn't save the day. It just makes things better, easier, right?
Yes.
More realistic power of friendship lesson, I think. So I appreciate it for that. It's just like it's not gonna stop the world from ending necessarily, but it's gonna stop you from being bullied, right? It's gonna
Hmm.
stop your life from sucking as much as it might have did if you were alone, right? So I like that. Um, and in fact, if I remember correctly, the like 2014 like Animator Expo little like pre SSS Gridman thing actually had Takashi, but grown up, be the main character. He was like the new Gridman, if I remember correctly.
Right. Hmm.
And I actually liked it because like the design they came up for his like adult self was actually pretty sick. Like he actually looked really cool, and he was gonna be like the new Gridman, but like they obviously had a change in ideas, and I do like ultimately what they decided to do for SSS Gridman. I really like, of course, going on to the next entry, what they did with fucking Dynazenon.
Oh yes.
Um, so peak. I love that they all again, even Dynazenon itself was another thing they took. That was just a little minor thing in the original series. Like, oh yeah, Gridman has this like sidekick robot that's like a transforming dinosaur thing. Clear Super Sentai Power Rangers ripoff. But like whatever, it's cool. I love giant red robot dinosaurs. Who doesn't? And so instead of Gridman, it's Dynazenon. You have a whole new cast. Who and to just rip the band-aid off is in a whole different world. It's implied to be, well, at first I thought it was supposed to be like the real world, but then like Gridman Universe implies that it's not, like it's a whole different other realm of
Yes.
existence.
Yeah.
It gets weird.
Yes. It's a very as I was saying before, very world layer pilled, as
No,
in.
yeah, super world layer pilled.
Yeah.
Super not forget it's just science adventure too. Fucking Infinity, the VN series before that kind of partially inspired science adventure. Never Seven, Never 17, Remember
Mhm.
11. Also very Infinity pilled because that's another thing that happens, right? Where you're just like, oh, Ever 17 and introduces Blake Winkle, and then there's Self in Remember 11, where it's just like, hey, that's just you, the player. um, everything is world layers when you look at it.
Yes.
But yeah, so Dynazenon is the story of, let's see, I forget their names. I remember the girl. I remember Yume, because hers is easy and it's like dramatic. Oh,
Yomogi is the main
Yomogi,
guy.
yeah, the little blue dude. I like Yomogi. Yomogi's cool.
Yeah.
He's like he's this weird in between where he's simultaneously the most anime main character, but also not.
Yeah, right.
He feels like a guy. He feels like just actually a guy, and I like that. I'm like, I feel like I've known many Yomogis before, right?
Yeah, right.
Some of you fuckers are Yomogis. So he's cool because he's just a dude. He's a guy just trying to go through life. He has like very like realistic issues too. The whole thing where like his mom's like remarried and he's like not really feeling it, right? Because
Yeah.
even though like the stepdad is like he's not like a bad dude, but obviously he's just like he's this teenager. He's like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
he's just not feeling it. Even if like the guy is like cool, he's not a bad dude. He clearly just has issues with it because
Yeah, and
that's
he
a
the guy worked at
complicated thing.
his school too, right? I think that was the thing he was
Oh,
saying.
I forgot
I'm
about
pretty
that.
sure it was like one of his like whether it was one of his teachers, but I'm pretty sure the guy worked at his school.
Well, yeah. So he basically Yomogi basically kind of feels like a disconnect from his
Hmm.
family. And there's even this whole thing where like he's like works a lot at his job specifically because he's kind of trying to make money to like move out as quickly as he possibly can because of this disconnect. Um, the main girl of the series, Yume, is kind of a kind of a bitch at first. Honestly, not a bitch, but like I don't know how to describe it. Where you're just like, wow, you are
Yeah, she's very
fucked.
cruel, but of course you end up learning the
You,
backstory throughout the series. But like when you first see her, it's like her whole thing is that she's a heartbreaker. Like she screws with
Not even
guys
like a
and
heart. Well, yeah, like kind of like a heartbreaker, but like in this like really like weird way where like guys are like, cause she is like canonically a babe,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
everyone knows it. She knows it. And you get the feeling that she's kind of like sick of the attention that brings her. On top of other issues she has, like she'll constantly like either invite guys out somewhere, or like if a guy wants to ask her out, she'll be like, okay, meet me here. And she just never shows up, and she just does this constantly. She even does this to Yamogi.
yes.
But we'll get to that in a bit because I want to just talk about the other characters. I forgot the other two.
There
What are their
was
names?
Koyomi and
Koyomi and
Issei.
his his cousin, yeah, his little cousin. So Koyomi is this like like 26 or something. He's this old. He's one of the older characters. He's like a neat. Um, doesn't have a job or anything. I don't think he like ever went to college either. It's implied that he finished high school, or he might have even dropped out of high school. And he's just been needing it up ever since. Because he just has like massive regrets over his childhood. Basically, when he was a teenager, he kind of can't like move on from that.
Yeah,
Um, he very much is and feels stunted in life. And then there's his younger cousin Chise, who's always hanging out with him because she's very much kind of going down that path. She's very clearly beginning to go down that path. She's this spunky little weirdo, who wants to do her own thing, doesn't really fit in. And right, this is Japan, so that's even more kind of a problem than it would be even say over here in the States, right? Because she's like a middle schooler, if I'm correct. She's very young. She's the youngest of the cast. Um, and so yeah, so they all these characters have these like very kind of painfully like real and realistic hangups. To go continue with Yume, her fucking older sister died like a few
Mm.
years before the story.
Yeah, and her
And she
whole
has this
like
weird,
thing, she's trying to figure out like who she was. It was really like it seemed like they were estranged before whatever it happened.
yeah,
So like she's
yeah,
asking
that's
a
her
bunch
real
of
hang.
people. Yeah, she's asking like older people and like faculty and like higher grade students about her, and that seems to be her whole little side thing. She's just like looking into who her
Yeah,
sister was. And...
yeah, because they were very estranged. Um, they were kind of they were sisters, but like I don't know, like you kind of got the feeling that they very much didn't feel like it. They were just kind of strangers in each other's homes.
you know,
All she really remembers is her older sister being like kind of like depressed or maybe bored looking. She's not quite sure all the time and always complaining about her, especially because she was younger and she could be a bit of an annoying little kid at times.
mm,
And her one of the big hangups she has is that like before she died, she invited her to like her like band recital or whatever the fuck. Right. And that's not something she really ever did before. She handed her this little flyer, had a smile on her face, which she usually didn't have.
yeah,
So that's a big moment that she's constantly thinking about in the show. Because she's like, what was going on there? Why did you always seem so sad the rest of the time? What was going on with her? Um, she has this whole like little side arc during the show where like she's her and Yomogi are kind of looking into they're like talking to her sister's old friends and stuff, kind of looking, you know, at old like social media stuff, all this stuff, just try to figure out what was going on with her sister.
mm,
Because they start thinking that well, what might have happened is that like her sister was being bullied and it actually wasn't an accident. She might have actually committed suicide. Because you may just doesn't know. She didn't really know her sister at all. Um, and I think part of her kind of worries that like she might have played a part in her sister's potential suicide. Um, Only to find out at the end that like it was in fact just an accident. It was just something fucked that happened as things do. And kind of overcome that trauma.
mm,
Um, you know, that's the thing, right? Is ultimately everyone kind of comes out of Dynazenon um for the better, right? Yume obviously is able to come to terms with her sister's death. Yomogi is able to come to terms with the fact that this is just his family now. You know, um, Chisei is able to go back to school and kind of like be like, yeah, I'm a weirdo, whatever, who cares? Um, I at least got the lads, the crew.
yeah,
Um, Yomori, gets a job. He's not being a neat. He gets his fucking life in order. He's able to finally like I don't know if he necessarily finds a purpose, but he finds the will to keep moving on.
yeah,
Which I like, right? His like I like that like his problems I think in a way are kind of run even though they're in some ways kind of the lesser of all the problems, they kind of run deeper, right? There's still waters that run very deep. So
yes,
it doesn't like completely his problems aren't completely solved really by the end of everything. Um because that's kind of you know like he that's actually very hard, right? In many ways it's kind of harder to find your purpose than it is to get over a loved one's death or
yeah.
that big change in your family or in your young life. Like that's a big thing, right? And so he doesn't really find a purpose. He's just like, I gotta get, he finds a will to keep going. He's like, I
Yeah,
gotta get my shit in order. I gotta.
because he had that whole thing wherein it was middle school where he met that one girl, and
Yes.
yes, they, but she was like a delinquent or whatever, and ended up getting a bunch of money. You know, they found a stash of a bunch of money, and he just
He panics.
He panicked. He ran away.
He runs
He didn't.
away.
He was. He had enough of or whatever. He broke down over all of her shenanigans, and he was like keeping it a secret. But then he just, the money thing happened, and then that seems to be one of the things. Is like one of his.
That's one of his
big
hang-ups,
regrets of like, you could have, you almost had that life where you could have, had a weird
could have ran away with the girl.
Yeah, exactly. You could have had that, but you
Because that's the thing is it's strongly like implied, kind of hinted at that like that girl liked him,
Yes.
right? Which is something that he wasn't very used to. Koyomi is low key like a fucking Takeshi type again, right?
Yeah.
So like he was this kind of loser who had this one girl who was into him when he was in like middle school, high school, and he bungles it, right? He fumbles the bag bigly.
Yes.
And like it's implied that like after that event, like they never talked again, right?
Yeah.
And so he massively fumbled the bag. He becomes this NEET who kind of just escapes from all his problems in reality. Very Kane, very Takeshi type.
But without the channeling his stuff into, crazy acts or whatever. He just, he becomes a more realistic, like depressed shut-in.
Yeah, Koyomi is, I was about to say, unlike those other two, Koyomi is not angry at the world. He's more angry with himself, actually.
Yes.
Right? His loathing isn't a world loathing, it's more of a self-loathing. He's like, he fucked up. He should have done something differently. It wasn't anything the world did. He keeps, you know, towards the end of the series when there's that kaiju that fucking like brings everyone into like their dream ideal worlds. Like his is this fantasy of him, running away with all this money with this girl.
Yeah.
Because he feels, he fumbled the bag.
Then he reconnects with her because he finds out that she is.
Oh
that his Yogami's supervisor at work. Like they reconnect there, and
very funny.
Yes, and of course, as it goes in real life for many of us, you reconnect with the one that got away, and it's just like, oh yeah, they're married now, and they're like, happy and living a kind of normal life, and you're just like, damn, my life completely like ended, like it stopped when we last spoke, whereas you just kind of went on with things.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember her name. I think it was the girl's name was Inamoto. Yeah, so that's a fun little thing. Is that like you have Koyomi, and his whole deal is his whole hang up over this girl, and then you'll occasionally see scenes of Yomogi working his like part-time fucking grocery job, and there's this lady, this like somewhat older lady there who's his supervisor, and then it reveals, oh yeah, those two people are one and the same.
Yes.
His supervisor is the girl that Koyomi has this big hang up over. Very funny. So yeah, he doesn't meet up with her again eventually. Yeah, he finds out that, she's engaged, and there's this thing where like for a while I think it's like she kind of mentions that she's kind of having like troubles with her fiance.
Yeah, it's not all
or
perfect,
husband or whatever. It's not perfect, but eventually they do work things out. Um, so there's this kind of thing where like Koyomi almost kind of falls into this like delusion of like, oh well, maybe maybe their thing won't work out and we could work out, all these years later. In fact, there's even a scene where like fucking Koyomi finds the the fucking husband like all fucked up, right? In
Oh
the
yeah,
rubble
during one
after a
of
kaiju
the
attack.
during the attack, and
he's like so tempted to just leave, bro, there to fucking die. And he's like, fuck, god damn it, I'll save you. Right.
yeah,
And so he ends up saving him. And like the husband guy's like, yeah, they low key become kind of bros, right? Like, "This is the guy who saved me, this guy, man." And Koyomi's like, yeah, whatever, dude. And it's after that like the girl and the husband kind of start working things together again.
yeah.
You know, all's good there, right? But of course, Koyomi's all fucking rip, alone. True self for life.
Literally me for real. Without
Brutal.
the lolly around.
Yeah, not yeah.
At least he gets the trigger mandated lolly.
That's a quote. That's a quote. Kouji 2025. At least he gets the trigger mandated lolly. That's a quote. That's one of the quotes of all time.
It really is, yeah, you know. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, so now we got the main crew out of the way. Well, actually, we don't have Galma.
Oh yeah, that ties
the
in
man,
with
the myth, the legend.
You know, the mummy himself.
Yeah, the mummy. He's the mummy from the original fucking series, which is just so fucking funny to me, especially
So
when
good.
they like when Yume and Yomogi like find out, right? They like look up like old, like I think Yume finds like an old like newspaper clipping of the event, right? Of like, oh, mummy disappears from museum or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's from the 90s, so it's like it's the show, the original show. And she's like, they're like, oh my god, is that him? Is that Gamma? Holy shit. He's a fucking mummy. I think they're the only ones who ever realize that or find that or anything. It's just a cool little nod, continuity nod. So yeah, Gamma is a 5,000-year-old. Like he used to be part of the kaiju eugenesis. Back before they were kaiju eugenicists, they were kaiju users for ancient China.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, all right, whatever, dude. Yeah, apparently.
I wonder if this implies Pulgasari is real in this universe.
That would be so based, so fucking hype. I would love that. Please, Super Ad Productions. Please trigger, make it happen. Yeah, it's like, wait, would this actually
work? It's like
I want to see that the kaiju eugenicists versus Pulgasari. Like, I would watch that. I'd watch that. But yeah, so they were like, they were these ancient kaiju users, which means they could like control kaiju. I think it canonically establishes that because the word kaiju obviously didn't exist in ancient fucking China. They were just called like dragon users or dragon controllers or something.
Yeah.
And so the princess of ancient China like takes interest in them because she hears about these people who can control dragons, monsters, kaiju. So, you know, they become like the royal family's top guys because they can control monsters. And apparently the ancient past had a fucking kaiju problem. Pogasari confirmed. So yeah, they're like the top guys. Eventually, like the kingdom kind of comes to fear them, right? Because they can control these kaiju. And so they're betrayed, and they in turn also betray the country, and they kind of just become these villains who are like, fuck it, humanity has, because you get the sense that like that they were not viewed as fully human for their powers, right? Kind of X-Men type shit.
Yeah, and it's like they all turned, they turned villainous, except Galma couldn't, because he made the promise to the princess to,
because him and the princess like low-key have a thing.
Yes. So he made his infamous promise to protect her. So they see him as a traitor.
Yeah. So they fight. He fucking annihilates them all, but they also kill him. And then 5,000 years later, they come back to life.
Yes.
Thanks to the events of Hyper Agent Gridman, but it's not till Dynazenon that shit really gets rolled.
Yeah.
So you have obviously Gamma, who is just a Chad. I love him. He's a goofy little goober. The other kaiju eugenicists, the main antagonists of the show, are Juga. Is that how you say his name? The glasses guy, the fucking K-pop looking
Oh,
motherfucker.
yeah.
He's the handsome glasses man who I don't know, he's one of the least fleshed out of the eugenicists, honestly. He's kind of just like a kaiju fanboy. That's it, really.
Yeah.
He also has like beef in particular with Gamma because I guess they used to be like bros. He used to look up to him, but when he betrayed them, he's like, "Bro, what the fuck?" Damn. So he's like kind of wanting Gamma to like return to their side, but like that never happens. The other ones we got Onija, who is just a fucking dumbass, and I love him for it.
Oh yeah.
The red-haired guy is just like
Always getting his
he's just
shit rocked.
yeah, he's just in it for the love of the game, frankly. Like he just doesn't care about anything except like fucking shit up. Which based, like, go for it, buddy.
Ooh.
Then you have Mujina, my wife, my beautiful darling gal, Mujina, the fattest ass fucking babe in the series with big old bazonkers.
Yeah,
God
they
bless.
surpassed Rika with that one. Really, like
No,
it's like
yeah, they surpassed everything. They were like, I think they could tell they weren't gonna really do much more with the Gridman series, so they were just like, fuck it, let's give her all the assets. Screw it.
yes.
So Mujina is this babe who, honestly, I think what her character is one of the more fascinating of the kaiju eugenicists, because like she kind of doesn't care about any of this. She's just there because like what the fuck else is she gonna do?
Right,
She's just like, I
yeah.
don't know. I found myself revived 5,000 years after I died. Frankly, I really don't see any point to any of this, but like, I don't know, whatever.
That's why she had that connection with Koyomi, which
I mean, yeah, because they're
that
kind of
was the
similar.
one thing that bugged me a little bit about Dynazenon and then Gridman Universe is that that didn't feel fleshed out enough. Like there were little scenes, like there were a
Yeah,
couple little scenes with those two together. They were like, you know, connecting over their situations, but it didn't
yeah, it
lead
didn't go
to
anywhere.
anything. Like it just kind of went away, and I was like, oh come on, that would have been such a neat like dynamic, but it just kept.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, it wasn't. Obviously there's only so much runtime, and only there were
yeah,
some side characters who had their own things going on, but that was the one thing. It's like, it would have been nice to see that develop a bit more.
yeah. It would have been nice to see there be just anything more to that than just kind of the little conversations they had. Especially because ultimately, like, yeah, there's really nothing. Yeah, nothing really comes of that. That's like
Yeah, aside from, oh, we
satisfying.
both are kind of like lost and are just kind of here,
Yeah,
circumstantially.
yeah, yeah. Because the whole thing is like, yeah, with Koyomi, it's just like, well, why are you even doing this? Like, what do you have? Like, I understand why the others, Chisei just thinks it's fun. I think for Yume, she just kind of likes having a real purpose, I guess.
Yeah.
She feels Dynazenon kind of gives her, and then Yomogi, I think it's a similar type of thing. Yeah, we're saving the world. Whereas like Koyomi, it's just like, what do you care, bro? You're in need. You don't give a fuck about the world, bro. It's just like, and I don't know. It's something to do, which is again the same thing as Mujina. Like, why is she doing all of this with the Kaiju Genesis? Well, what else is she gonna do, right? She doesn't
Mhm.
have anything else. So yeah, I wish there had been more there.
Yeah.
And then you have the kind of like I don't know if you call him the leader, but he's like of all the kaiju eugenicists, he's the most kaiju eugenicist. Shizumu.
Oh yes.
He's like this fucking little creepazoid, this little weirdo who, funny enough, for how like kind of quiet he is and like collected, he's like the most like I'd say, ideological of the eugenicists, or he's the one who's really like kaiju are like the road to utopia or whatever the fuck, basically, right? He's just, in a way, even though he's technically like a human, he kind of fills the role of Khan Digifer or Alexis Karab in Dynazenon, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, fuck reality, that's cringe, we're gonna escape using kaiju. He kind of plays that role, but it's interesting because for the first time in the series, the only time in the series actually, even Gridman doesn't, even Gridman Universe doesn't do this. It's another human doing it. Um, so it's kind of interesting in that regard. Though again, he's so quiet and like calm and collected, and kind of just watching what's going on that like you kind of don't realize it until the end. Where you're like, oh, I guess he kind of is like the big bad.
Yeah, because he weirdly inserts himself into Yogami and Yume's school. Like he just appears one day as a transfer student, and they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, because he's the only one of the kaiju eugenicists who's like, he's the youngest, at least appearance wise. He's clearly like a teenager or something. So yeah, he kind of just shows up at the school as a transfer student and just kind of watch it. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't fuck with them or anything. He just kind of watches their days go on by. You kind of get the sense that he's kind of just watching and seeing like why they give a shit, basically.
Yeah.
Like why they're fighting with Dynazenon. Like it's like why do they care? Because like you get the sense that he can tell that their lives in their own kind of ways kind of suck, that they're not happy with.
Yeah.
But he's not power friendship pilled, so he doesn't get it.
Yes, exactly. It is funny that only him and Gauma are the only two that seem to be forced to, have to actually blend in, where the other three just kind of wander around doing their kaiju shit.
Yeah,
but, he goes to school and Gauma has to just get a construction job, which was like...
Well, the other three just kind of don't do shit.
Yeah, they just wander around and then decide to talk about with a kaiju and just be like, you know what?
Yeah, I don't know how they afford anything actually, because like you see several scenes of like one of the scenes with Mujina and Koyomi is like is them like being at like McDonald's or something basically, and you're like, how are you affording that? Or like when they go to the water park, right, to fuck with the Dynazenon crew.
Oh yes, the legally distinct beach episode. That was
the legally, which is so funny because like I think I'm trying to remember, most of them don't even care to like actually fuck with them.
Oh yeah, most of them are just like, oh, why can't we just enjoy the water park,
Yeah, especially Mujina. She's just like, I just want to have fun at the water park. Like, I don't give a shit about fucking with them. Like, I just want to like enjoy the water park. Yeah, I think at one point they're like talking to the Dynazenon crew. They're like kind of like, I forget exactly what they're telling them. They're doing villainous monologue shit, and Mujina's just like, can we get this over with? I want to go back to the pool.
Like, oh, so real, yeah.
Or when they have their like day off, right? And they like go to like Japanese like main event or like to the theater and shit. They're just just enjoying themselves out in the city.
Yeah.
So hey, I think it's funny because I think one of them, Juga is like, we're like 5,000 years in the future. Let's go see like what they got, basically. So they go to like the arcade and shit. They're just having fun. It's like whatever. But then you're also like, how the fuck do you guys afford this? Man, and anyways, eventually they beat the Dynazenon crew beats the Kaiju Genesis. Rippy Dippy, eventually, because beating them kind of makes it so that like whatever kaiju power force whatever was keeping them around, keeping them alive, is gone now. So Gamma kind of just fades, Avengers Infinity War style. And that's the end of Gamma.
Yes.
And then the rest of the crew kind of just go back to their lives. Yume and Yomogi, become a thing. God bless. I love to see it. Everyone has their problems resolved. Everything's all good. They didn't run away into the kaiju dream realm. They faced reality. Very, very Gridman pilled. Very, very schizocore. And then next is Gridman Universe.
Ah, yes, the crossover.
Fucking ride. Yeah, I love to see it. Love to see the crossover events.
As I said when I was watching it, I'm like, wow, it's crazy that Gridman did this. At least looking at the anime specifically, they did this whole get all your characters. They each get their entry. Do your crossover. It's peak. Simple. And I'm just like, year 15 of science adventure, no crossover.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah. Man. It happens. Year fucking infinity of so many things that I want to have crossovers. Not having a crossover.
Yeah.
Sucks that Kid Studio and shit are gone, so we can't ever have the infinity crossover of event of all time. Where the never 17.
Of course, all these dead universes that are just left.
Not for real, actually.
Yeah, no, so we got Gridman Universe so our boy lost his memories again. Of course. Because whenever Gridman fuses with him or possesses him, he just loses his memories. He doesn't remember it.
You find out that in Gridman, at the end of SSS.Gridman, that actually wasn't Yuta the whole time. It was Gridman's soul inhabiting Yuta's body.
Yes.
So Yuta doesn't remember any of that, right? Because that was Gridman in his body.
Yes.
So in Gridman Universe, it's actually Yuta. And like there's this awkwardness between him and Rika in particular. Right, because they had this whole arc together, but that wasn't actually him and he doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah.
But he totally has the like hots for Rika, obviously. In fact, one thing that Gridman establishes, this is just Gridman, is that like even though it was Gridman in Yuta's body, like Yuta's like personality kind of like leaked out, like influenced Gridman, right?
Yes.
So it kind of was Yuta, but also kind of not. So in Universe, it's like, oh, damn, their whole thing has kind of been reset, basically.
Yeah, and everything, like even in the world itself, like no one remembers any of the kaiju attacks or any of that. It's all like it was nothing. Yeah. So it's only basically only
Rika and Utsumi remember.
Yes, exactly. Which that's kind of where the baseline of the plot starts. Is just there's a festival at their school is going to happen, and they're like, oh, why don't we make a Gridman presentation or whatever? Make a play of the Gridman events, because technically none of that happened. They just remembered, so they're trying to build it off of memory. But Yuta can't be.
He doesn't remember shit.
Yeah, he doesn't remember, so he's not like a huge help to it. That's where you get that little bit of like alienation, because they're talking about it and planning it, and he's just like, I don't know.
Another thing too with that little kind of plot line is that Rika, part of why she wants to do the Gridman play, at least to me, obviously wants to do it because he's a fucking Toku nerd. So he's like, fuck yeah, let's do this. Rika, because again, no one remembers Akane, and so she kind of wants to, even though she was kind of the villain, like he still thinks of her as like a friend. And in the end, I think they kind of remain friends, just on real terms, not this whole "I programmed you to be my friend" thing. Like,
yeah,
in like a very in very real terms that end up kind of ultimately saving Akane. And so if she wants to leave some kind of mark that Akane existed in this world, right? And to like show Akane for who she really was, right? It's this kind of like really get across her frustrations, all these things that were kind of wrong with her life, basically, I guess. So yeah, so there's that part of that. And then eventually there's the whole thing where the worlds start merging. Because you
Yes.
you see a bit too of like the Dynazenon crew and their world, where I don't know, because they're you see a bit less, I think, because their kind of stories wrapped up more wholesale, right?
Yeah.
So you just kind of see them like going about reminiscing over what happened, wondering about Galma, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then yeah. So because it was like what knocked it off was, or what started it off was the a kaiju attacked again out of nowhere in the Gridman world,
Right.
and
Yes.
that's when the Neon Genesis junior high students show up again, plus Yauma, quote unquote. You know, he was reincarnated as one of them, going by Rex.
Yes.
But
Yes.
they don't know who he is. Like he's just like to them, like they don't. He's just some new guy with junior high.
He's a new Neon Genesis Junior High guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so he got like reincarnated into that world with that crew. And then what it starts happening is they start seeing like ghosts, what they think are ghosts, like these weird little phantoms or whatever. But yeah, so it like that continues to progress until our Dynazenon crew just starts like manifesting in the Gridman world, not knowing where they are. Clearly, like, oh, they try to go to their apartments, or they end up in other people's apartments, and the usual like reality merge shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all lost again. He's like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. So it's Kaiju starts showing up again, and everyone gets Gridman pops back up. Um, Gamma now is Rex. Um, puffs back into fucking Dynazenon with the crew one last time, right?
Yeah.
They're fighting, and it's good shit.
Yes, because
It's
there's
good,
this
good shit.
whole universal event, multiversal event that the big crunch is occurring, so all the realities are collapsing down on each other.
Yeah,
They have to save the multiverse, and just the various kaiju they encounter get increasingly more like reality bending.
like insane. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's all kinds of weirdness, and I think in particular Yuta is the only one who notices, and I think it's because he was like inhabited by Gridman for a little bit, so it gives him this like weird ability
Yeah.
where he's the only one who notices that things are kind of weird. He like notices like weird inconsistencies with like reality and time and shit.
Yeah.
um, and so eventually, a lot of these like weird like ghost happenings that he sees are actually revealed to be um fucking Auntie and Anasilas the Second
Yes.
from like outside reality, from another reality, like another point in time or some fucking insanity like that. Like trying to get to him because he's the only one who could see them.
Yes, that's why you end up with
Um,
multiple grid knights. Like, what the
yes,
hell?
yes, multiple Gridman Knights and multiple Anasilas the Seconds, which I don't think we mentioned either of them before
Oh,
actually. And
yeah, yeah.
Auntie is a creation of Akane's from the original SSS Gridman. Basically, she wanted to create like a sentient kaiju, right? But he's kind of a dumbass,
Yeah.
so it kind of fails, even though he's like pretty powerful. At the end, though, he kind of breaks out of Akane's control and does his own thing because she like abandons him after he fails to defeat Gridman several times. Eventually, kind of becoming a kind of his own kind of Gridman. He becomes Grid Knight. He transformed
Yes.
into his own version. So he becomes a good guy, and he actually appeared. Well, before I get to that, Anasilas the Second is another SSSS Gridman original, who she is like the child of some sort of Anasylus from Hyper Agent Gridman, right? The kaiju native to the computer world. In SSS.Gridman, she appears as this like gross, homeless, weird little girl though.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. I love her. She's great.
Oh yeah.
Except like she's obviously a kaiju because at several points she like transforms, like she becomes giant basically,
Yeah.
just to fuck with Yuta. And she's actually like the instigator that reveals the plot point of like, this isn't reality, this is the computer world. You know, you're all fake. That, you know, Kanye is like the god of this world, basically, that kind of shit. And obviously, she's trying to free the computer world from the grip of Akane because it's her native home. And they both actually appear in Dynazenon, where they appear as like multiversal travelers because apparently they just travel the multiverse to defeat kaiju wherever they pop up, right? Because Auntie, now Grid Knight, is an adult in Dynazenon. And he obviously transforms into kind of his own like purple Gridman ripoff. Um, so he can obviously fight kaiju and then Anasylus. One, she obviously is a kaiju herself, so she never transforms in Dynazenon. But she actually has the fucking magical wand that the one fucking replicompoid from episode 6 of Hyper Agent has, which I thought was a cool little like nod back. I'm like, oh, that's where that came from. Okay, they just have magic wands, I guess. Cool. They can like fuck with kaiju and shit. She's also an adult now, and I kind of love her design in Dynazenon. Like, I'm like, holy shit. I realized, I was like, oh my god, this is they just made her into fucking Accord from Drakengard 3 from the Near universe. She's literally just Accord going around the multiverse, fixing timelines and shit. Like, that's just Accord. That's another thing where like Near Reincarnation establishes the like quantum server, where it's just like, oh, like it's low-key implied, especially with the ending of Near Replicant, the new remake ending E, where it's just like, oh wait, is this all like in a simulation? Actually, are all these universes just actually quantum server like fucking sims? Because is everything world layers?
Yes, actually. It's world layers all the way down.
It's world layers all the way down. Everything is world layers. It's all world layers.
It's so good.
That's also something I need a crossover event too. I want to see fucking Near in like 2B and fucking Zero and Kime. I need all the Drake and Near crews to meet and, I don't know, fight or something. Do it, Yokotaro. I know you want to. I know you want to. You do so many crossover events with other shit. Please do crossover events with your own shit. Which I guess Reincarnation kind of was, but whatever. This isn't the Near episode. That's for later.
Yes.
TLDR, Anasylus II is Gridman's fucking Accord, and I think that's hilarious. Anyways, in Gridman Universe, these younger alternate versions show up and they're like, hey, Yuta, I gotta be real with you. This is all actually Gridman's fault.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to remember what it's basically, it's super fucking insane actually. Like, what's going on?
Because so
I'm trying to remember.
Gridman pulls an Akane and he wants to make his own universe, which I forget if it was implied that the Dynazenon universe was Gridman's creation. Yeah, like Gridman himself makes a universe.
I do
remember
where
Dynazenon comes from, and so another layer down we go.
Yeah, well, the thing too is it's not, you're never sure if it's another layer down, because like you're not sure of like the hierarchy of our reality, the computer world, the hyper world, the Dynazenon. You're never actually sure about any of that.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it's Gridman's creation, and then that's wild. But it goes further up because there's someone who's using Gridman to do this.
Yes.
Like to mess with the universes.
Kaiju.
Yes, there's an evil kaiju who's
an evil it's a kaiju that's like the embodiment of chaos, basically.
Yes.
Like some kind of chaos god creature that's like explicitly stated to be like the antithesis of Gridman.
Yes. What was it? Mad Origin.
That's actually a pretty sick name, not gonna lie.
Sick name. Great design because it's vaguely Space Godzilla, except he has drills instead of spikes, which, you know,
sick.
Trigger, of course.
Sick. Yeah, right, yeah. Very, of course, yeah, they would. Oh, yeah, it's a really sick design. It reminds me of oh my god, how could I forget? His design, Mad Origin's design, is super evocative of an unused, for any Godzilla fans out there, a like terminally unused Godzilla monster called Bagon. Like like they literally just took Bagon's design, um, which is it's this monster that's I think has been like in the works since like the 80s or maybe even the late 70s. That's like always like, oh, let's make Godzilla versus Bagon. Nah, we'll do something else. Okay, well, and then a couple years later, oh, now let's do Godzilla. Now let's do something else. So it's just like this infamously unused Godzilla monster that technically doesn't even exist in the Godzilla universe because he's never been put into anything. I do like that they used. I mean, there's super clear inspiration for Mad Origin, um, in Bagon, and I think that's actually kind of cool because it kind of goes with the whole like theme of Gridman Universe, right? And how it ties into kind of ideas around fiction itself and what it means to people.
Yeah.
Like it really takes it takes the themes of Gridman and kind of takes it to a meta level, even more than it did in SSS.Gridman, to really comment on those themes from kind of our standpoint, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Because it does get really meta with when Yuta actually speaks to real world Akane.
Yeah, because they need her help, right? They need her help to defeat Mad Origin, and so he like actually talks to her, and it's like super fun. It's super funny. It's like it low key gives off like 2001: A Space Odyssey vibes, right?
Yeah, it just straight up does that, and it's a little bit Interstellar too.
Yeah, the scene where he's like floating in the void, and there's like the tube, the light, right? And like at the end of it, you just see like Akane's like real ass eye peering through the whatever to look at Yuta. It's like super like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really strange with it.
Yeah. So basically, Mad Origin's whole deal is that it's like hijacking Gridman's like creative power. It's hijacking his creative power to basically like, because Gridman kind of unconsciously creates all these universes, creates all these the multiverse basically implied in Gridman Universe. And because of like, I forgot what. I don't know if it was exactly Mad Origin's fault or if it was just like kind of taking advantage of whatever was going on. But basically, it's using his power to create all these kaiju to harvest the negative emotions of mankind.
Yeah.
Right. To like basically like turn Gridman's like uncontrolled creative power into like a cancer for like the multiverse, basically.
Yeah.
Like this kaiju cancer. It's kind of actually fucking insane. Yes, what happened was that Gridman felt guilty for kind of unwittingly possessing Yuta in SSS Gridman. That negative emotion draws Mad Origin's attention, and he ambushes and defeats Gridman. And then Mad Origin bonds Gridman's essence to the multiverse, knowing that his like latent, unbound creative powers will spread chaos across
Yeah.
the multiverse, and that he himself, Mad Origin, will become basically invincible because he is this creature of chaos. So it's actually implied, yes, that one of the universes created in this event was the Dynazenon universe.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also why you have the different sets of aunties and Anasiluses as well. And so at the end, after they like kick Mad Origin's ass and like Yuta and Gridman like reconcile, and Yuta's like, it's no problem. Like you literally had to defeat this like evil interdimensional dude. Like it's no fucking problem, bro. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
He's a bro of main characters. So, you know what? I get it. Do what you gotta do.
it.
Well, I'll help.
He's like, it's cool.
Whatever. So
But
like, oh,
yeah, I
boo
think
hoo, woe is me, my.
I think the other part too is he's actually like, dude, if it hadn't been for you, like like in all this crazy kaiju shit, like Rika and I probably never would have gotten close. Like I would have never had the balls to like actually like get close to Rika. So like, do not worry about it, bro. Like we're super good. We're like beyond good, dude.
Gridman is the best wingman of all time.
He didn't even mean to be. That's the best
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Like he just did that. So yeah, so you just like, dude, actually, like, do not worry about it. It's more than fine, dude.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, so they get like everyone's help basically to defeat Mad Origin. It's super sick.
Yeah, even
It's low key, so
yeah.
it's some like Spy Kids 3 type shit,
Oh,
right?
it
You know,
really is. Even when you got
all the way in
Akane and
Episode
Alexis
1.
Carib show up, and it's like, you know what?
Yeah, even
Yeah.
they unleash Alexis Carib from like interdimensional jail, and like it's so awesome. And even when
Yeah.
like Alexis Carib fucking dies, because that's how fucking powerful Mad Origin is. Alexis Carib's like, whatever, dude. I'm immortal. I hate existence. I wanted to die anyways. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
Oh, because he pulled the thing where Mad Origin like possessed him. And then he's just like, you know what? Everyone just kill me. Like I'm gonna keep him inside. Everyone just destroy me, and he won't escape.
Yeah. He manages to take control from Mad
Yeah.
Origin for long enough for the rest of the crew to just like fucking destroy him. And like Alexis Carib's like super chill about it. He's like,
Yeah.
I've been wanting to die for like millennia. It's fine. So yeah, so like everyone, Grid Knight, Kane comes back, Anna Silas fucking transforms finally for once. There's this cool, I think one of the most fun parts of the movie is when Akane comes back, right? Because it suddenly switches to like live action, right? Because she's in reality.
Yes.
And you see like one, I like that you see her with like a little group of friends, right?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it does show that like things did in fact get better after Gridman forcibly white pilled her in SSSS.Gridman. So things are looking good for her. I like that her like how like she just keeps junk in like this little like baby like island thing on like the banks of this like man-made river, basically like a
Yeah.
kind of like a I don't know, like a sewage type thing with all this trash. It's just there, and it somehow just works. It somehow has power from somewhere. So she's able to like interact with the worlds of the Gridman Universe. Uh, Title drop. Um, and I like how she does need to be convinced to kind of come back a bit, but like
Yeah.
it's not much because you can tell how much she like genuinely cares about like the characters and stuff. It's just again everything to do with Gridman, all the Gridman Universe, all that good stuff. Like, it does genuinely mean a lot to her. So she does want to, even though she said she would never come back, right? At the end of SSS.Gridman, like, she cares too much to not do something about what's going on.
Yeah. There was that aspect of it too, that little side thing where earlier on when they were trying to come up with the design for the play for what Gridman would look like, because everyone's like memories were kind of foggy, you know, like everyone tried to do little sketches of like, oh, this is what Gridman looked
and
like.
they couldn't like draw well either.
Yeah, they couldn't.
Like, they were very clearly,
yeah, they couldn't draw well, and then just threw something. It's like, hey, you look kind of like this, you know. This is all I got. And but Yuta was like, oh, I'm gonna keep those drawings, like keep all the little sketches and ideas of what he was looked like, and that came back later with the whole, you know, everyone has like a view of Gridman, like everyone has this
yes,
like their
that
own
was a good little
creative
moment.
like where it all like kind of came together. And that's what kind of
like view, because they're trying to get like Gridman to like remember who he was.
Yes, exactly. And then everyone had their own like perspective on him and their own design and their own like oh, this is how he was. This is what he was like, and it all coalesced into the new Gridman design at the end. Like the new like, okay, this is the Gridman, and how that was a little like collective consciousness moment.
Yeah. Well, I like how like. Yeah. Well, because I think Gridman and Akane, in a weird way, are like two sides of the same coin in terms of clearly, in Gridman Universe at least, supposed to be like stand-ins in a way for like the audience.
Yeah.
Right? Like for real people, for fans of stuff, for creatives, right? So like that's the whole thing about Mad Origin, right? Is he's hijacking Gridman's ability to create, particularly to create universes, in order to destroy, right? To try to kind of undo creation. So I like the kind of, I think, well, not really subtle, but it is kind of, it's subtly in your face theme of Gridman Universe. Again, kind of the relation people have to fiction and how it shows that through both Gridman and Akane, where you know, in a lot of ways, Mad Origin is kind of just like the Mad Origin is literally like an embodiment of like corpo slopification, right? And just kind of like this destructive force, and as well as kind of like, I don't know, like a kind of despairing, like, I think a lot of Gridman is kind of how. Oh, this is a good way to put it. Actually, thank you, Black Knight Satellite. A lot of Gridman, in particular Gridman Universe, but I think the entire series as like in its entirety is kind of like like, you know how there's that whole attitude of like the like tortured artist, right? Of like, in order to like be a truly profound creative, you have to be like depressed and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I feel like the entirety of Gridman is like, actually, no, that's cringe and stupid. The opposite is in fact actually true. The best shit is made when, like, in fact, that kind of shit is like corrosive to creativity. It's corrosive to kind of the human spirit. All it does is just kind of, it destroys. It doesn't really create. You know, you gotta like, the truly creative spirit is powered not by this kind of chaotic, destructive, despairing force, but by a positive, um, hopeful, genuinely creative, life affirming force. And that's what Gridman is. Gridman is like, Gridman and his whole crew, like, he's the hero of dreams. that's his whole deal, right? Is he literally goes into these fictive worlds to save them.
Yeah.
As I think the SSS Gridman series is the kind of pinnacle of, because like it doesn't really matter, because I think if you're looking at it from the perspective of like reality, right? Well, what does it matter what happens to like the computer world and the replicon points? They're not real. They're not real. Like, what does it matter what happens to them?
Yeah.
And frankly, this is part of even the original series, right? It's like, well, well, it's a bit different in the original series because, like, it's like the computer world has like ties, obviously, to like real world machines, and so like, oh, if the kaiju attack, this part of the computer world and destroy it, then like the electrical grid goes out and some shit, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But like in this, it's more like, well, who cares, right? It's not gonna have an effect on the reality. It's just like, well, actually, it will, because like this teenage girl will lose all hope in life and just kind of escape into this fantasy of
Yeah.
hers. So Gridman is really the hero of like, he's the guardian of like humanity's hopes and dreams in the realm of fiction that they're kind of contained within. Um, and I think that's why I like Gridman Universe, because it has Akane coming into the world of fiction not to escape into fantasy, but to save Gridman, right? To
Yeah.
protect a protector, right? Um, and which I think kind of takes things a step further, showing how there kind of has to be an active effort on our part, on people's part, to protect kind of fiction as well, from the kind of corrosive forces of despair or corporate slopification, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah. So I
Very
think in that way,
important
Gridman
thing.
is yeah, it's very schizopunkian, as you put
Yes, yes. Important.
it.
You know, the defenders of the Black Knight satellite here.
Real Black Knights of Valis, true
Ah,
and actual.
yes, of course.
Um, yeah, no, yeah. So like, it low key gives me never ending story vibes, if you remember
Oh
that.
my gosh, yes.
Am I right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, no,
low
it really
key. Low
is.
key. It is never ending story vibes with like, it's literally like the whole idea of, I think, in a way you could imagine Gridman as, and uh, like the characters of like Condigifer, Alexis Carrot, Mad Origin are all basically like, they're like Gamork, right?
Mm,
They're
yeah,
they're like, they can be envisioned as like servants of the nothing, and then Gridman's out here like, nah, fringe, actually, we're gonna not do that.
yeah, exactly. And we'll do it in the coolest way possible by have big
Yeah.
kaiju robot fight.
uh, based based and true.
Yes.
Based and true.
Thank you, Gridman. You were a real one for all of that.
Based Gridman, he truly is the hero of our dreams.
Yes, and if you've made it this far, take the Gridman pill. You'll
No, for real. For real. They do it. Take the Gridman pill. Do not despair. Don't
yeah,
Never black pill.
never black pill, never
Never
kill yourself.
goon. Never kill yourself. Uh, Black pilling is the mind killer. Um, Create. Do cool shit. If you think you're not good enough, if you think your art or storytelling or whatever sucks, tell that part of your brain to eat shit, and tell anyone who tells you that to eat shit, and just do it.
Yeah, just keep
As
creating.
Sam Witwicky from 2007's Transformers once said, "Just do it,
Yes.
do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams, baby."
You know, you got just You got Gridman protecting you, man. Like, what's stopping you?
Yeah, what's not just Gridman. You got Grid Knight.
Oh,
You
the
got
whole
Silas.
alliance.
You got
Yeah.
all of them. The whole Gridman alliance, baby. They're all out there. They're stopping the corpo. They're not doing a good job, but they're it's an underdog thing, okay?
Yeah. That's why you gotta help them, you know?
You gotta
That's
you gotta
the
join the fight. Yeah, you gotta join the
yeah.
fight. It's like
Maybe
it's like
the
Kingdom Hearts,
Akane
but
right
less
now.
Kingdom Hearts. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the true crossover battle of the all time. Uh,
A certain ultimate showdown, one might say.
of Ultimate Destiny.
TM.
Registered trademark Schizopunk Media 2025. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I guess I don't know. Is that all? Is that the whole? Is that the whole Gridman episode?
I think it might be. It could be something to
Might
revisit in
be.
the future in like different contexts.
Yeah,
You know,
we could
I'm sure it'll
definitely.
come up
It's
if
our
we talk
podcast. We can
about.
do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, yeah. We can always do like part twos or other like different thematic angles, or it connects to this.
Maybe
thing.
there'll be. Yeah, I mean, maybe there'll be more Gridman in
Oh,
the
of
future. I
course.
don't know
Yeah,
if they're done, but
yeah. It's hard to say. Like, there could
it's
be
hard to
more. There
say.
could
But
be.
hopefully not. Hopefully there's more. Hopefully they do more with Gridman because these two series and movie are genuinely peak. I do
It's
recommend watching them. I don't think
it's
we did
one of
them anywhere
those.
near as much justice
Oh
in
yeah,
this
no.
episode.
Yeah, that's where you can go an episode per you know
Yeah.
per item per entry. But
Yeah.
for now, I feel like it's a good little like encapsulated thing that
This is a good little intro to Gridman. A
yes,
spoiler intro to Gridman. I think. Uh, I don't know. I think this fits into a lot of what we've been talking about here on the podcast, right?
yeah,
Where
yeah, and you gotta take these
I
themes
mean,
of like hope and like creativity and like just run with them. Like you gotta, you know,
yeah.
things are bleak. We doom
I,
post plenty, but it's you gotta push through it.
things are changing slowly, little by little. I think a little bit, but I think for most of my life, fiction has been treated as just kind of either just a product to consume, which bleh,
Mhm.
um, or like just like a kid's thing, right? For losers, for man children, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I think even today you still see a lot of it, frankly, of like, oh, you care about like anime or video games or whatever. Like, what are you, like a man child? Like, grow up.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that is just wrong, right? Um, I think fiction, especially good kind of fiction with a lot of meaning, um, and thought poured into it, um, is important in ways that not a lot of people give it enough credit for. Again, that's kind of changing with
yeah,
our
yeah,
generation in particular, but I think you still see a lot of this kind of attitude of like, who cares? And it's like, well, what do you mean? Who fucking cares? Like, it's obviously hard to kind of see things in to kind of see fiction. I think in a more positive light in this time and place where everything is so commercialized. Everything is this product that has to be packaged and sold and have merchandise
yeah.
for and
Marketable,
stuff like that.
and it's
Yeah. Um, but I think so. I can kind of understand it from that perspective, right? Because you unfortunately do kind of have the you have the redditors, right? Who is Funko Pop, right?
mhm.
They have the Funko Pop collections. It's all about just consuming product. It's all just about kind of knowing the most facts and trivia, to fucking boast about. for whom, it's like the types of people who, like, would show up to protest Donald Trump in like 2017, like, a generation raised on Harry Potter and Hunger Games isn't gonna stand for this, that type of shit. Like that is
Oh God. Yeah.
that, like, there is a genuine place to kind of critique that, certain aspects, I think, of, well, really, to critique fandom culture, I will say.
Yes. Yeah, that's
But
the
I
best way to put
think,
it.
yeah, but I think I always think back to, like, well, I think in a lot of ways fiction does act as a kind of stabilizing force, not just for individuals, but I think
Mhm.
for society. It acts as something to aspire to, right? I mean, you think of like all these like historical figures, right, who like did great things. And then when you look into like why, when you read their like biographies or things they said or whatever, they'd bring up like ancient, myths of like Greek
Yeah.
heroes or like,
Yeah, everyone was like,
medieval chivalrous
yeah,
figures, right?
people would be like, that whole thing, what was, there was someone made like a chain of like, oh, this person was LARPing as this person, who was LARPing as this person, and like, oh, Alexander the Great was Heraclius, who was like Achilles, who was like, it just kept
Yeah.
going back. It's like all
No,
these
yeah,
great
yeah.
heroes were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just,
Yeah.
he's literally me, and I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, stories of great heroes inspire people to try to be like these great heroes, right? These are not things that don't matter, that aren't important. Some of the most um very real and impactful moments and events in human history only happen because of, the inspiration that uh the fictive inspiration that drove them, right?
Yeah,
How many people, how many like GIs, were inspired to go, fight off in the Pacific or in the European theater in World War II because of like Superman comics or Captain America, right? How
yeah,
many, and it's this kind of circular thing too, because the opposite is also true, right? Infamously, it can be said that we wouldn't have, powerhouses like Lord of the Rings without, what um J.R.R. Tolkien went through in the First World War.
yeah,
Um, so I think there's this relationship with fiction that humanity has that has been forgotten, if not actively suppressed. Um, because I think, there are forces out there that want people to just consume plot
yeah.
forever and not be inspired to, enact change or to do something
And to
real or to
think
just
or
make something
create for
cool.
themselves. It's
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Bingo. Bingo.
mhm.
And so I think, Gridman is representative, I think, of this idea, really. Like kind of wrapped up in a nice kick-ass bow. In a kick-ass kaiju fighting bow, right? Of the relationship people have, the very real relationship people have with fiction. It's kind of a funny sentence to say, you know. I think Gridman is the hero of dreams. To go back to the never-ending story comparison, he's the hero of Fantasia, right? This realm of human fantasy, woven of the dreams and hopes of all mankind.
Yeah,
So you got to fight back against the nothing, against the mad origins, because to borrow from a fucking evil werewolf creature, otherwise people lose their hopes and forget their dreams, and you know people who have no hopes are easy to control, and whoever has control has power, and they will use that power against you.
Yes.
And that's cringe, and we're not about that. So
Yeah. So
quote another great trigger. Well, no, not trigger. Gynax, but whatever. Same thing. Kinda, not really. Uh, row, fight the power, baby. Let's go.
you said it. You said it. You said the line.
I said it. I said the thing. I said the thing. Ah.
Yeah.
Believe in the you who believes in you.
Yeah. Just make
we
good
need to do a
shit.
Gurren episode.
We really do. That could be.
That'll
next.
be later though. Yeah.
Yeah. Next. Well, who knows?
Yeah.
One of the next
Who knows?
upcoming ones.
We'll decide. It's our show. Fuck you.
Exactly. We'll be back eventually with more peak. Show you all the peak we're inspired
more
by.
Kino. Yes.
But yeah, no, I feel like that's a good place to put a pin in it for now. I'm sure it'll come up again because it's so pervasive.
It's been the Gridman Universe, baby. Coming
Man.
at you from the hyper world. This has been Layer 1.
It has been. Everyone, take care. Make good shit. Make peak if you can.
Make Kino.